Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, or Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and we see Trump is coming to office. He's been in office for all of 10 days now. He got inaugurated on the 20th. And since he's come into office, he's had the pen is mightier demon on him. He is signing away at his executive orders and different bills, and he's getting them running. And one of the biggest ones we're seeing is this deportation thing that's going on. It's happening all across the country, and they're getting people that they deem to be illegal out of the country, even though they're native to this land. But that's besides the point. Now he is introducing a lot of executive orders, or at least this main one, against anti-esism in the U.S., the people that are against the small hats. And so we're going to take a look at a couple things because I believe they're trying to link us to these white supremacist groups, which there's no link whatsoever except for disgust on both sides. But this is from The Forward, and it came out yesterday, and it says Trump anti-esism executive order invokes anti-KKK law and targets leftist anti-American universities. This was written by Arno Rosenfeld, so he sounds like he's one of them. But getting into it a little bit, this is President Donald Trump's executive order on anti-esism encourages the Attorney General to use a federal law created to target the Ku Klux Klan and will direct federal agencies to tell colleges and universities to monitor and report activities by foreign students, staff, and faculty for activities related to terror, to T, the big T word, according to a draft of the order obtained by The Forward. And you can see he's trying to protect the small hatters, which they don't need protection. They are at the top. And there's already, obviously, you can't even talk about them, considering I have to mute my words or disguise my words just to say this anti-S word. And you know that quote says to see who rules over you, figure out who you can't criticize, which it's always been correlated with Voltaire, but supposedly that's not true. But regardless, that quote is true. Who can't you talk about? And it's obviously these small hatters. It says immediate action will be taken by the Department of Justice to protect law and order, quell pro-Hamas vandalism and intimidation, and investigate and punish anti-Jewish racism in leftist, anti-American colleges and universities. A separate White House fact sheet about the order circulating Wednesday stated. It adds that the executive order demands the removal of resident aliens who violate our laws. So they'll deport you if you speak out against the small hatters. Or that's what they're aiming to do. And it's like, it's BS because no one has been put down and slandered and just treated nearly as poorly as the so-called Negroes, which are the Southern Kingdom, which are the real Judites. This is all aimed at protecting them when they're actually in charge, and they do these things that people speak out on. But so we got that one aimed at universities. Here's something else that was on RT. This got posted in our group yesterday by Kalaya. and it says Trump to sign executive order aimed at identifying and penalizing activists involved in anti-S actions. So anti-J-ish protests, graffiti, intimidation may come under scrutiny from federal agencies. So there's another, I believe they're most likely the same executive order, but regardless, there's more protections for these small hatters, in which they are the problem. If you haven't noticed, they're the ones that own the ships that brought us over here in slavery, and they're the ones that push these deviant philosophies onto the world with their feminism and their alphabet agenda. And it really all goes into eugenics and trying to, or depopulation, and trying to stop the formation of families and stop people from being born. It is all them, and so they do have to have these different executive orders and this special treatment for, so that they could keep doing their wickedness. But it's coming to an end. But all this, I think, is a way in which they're going to try and attack the Israelites. As we saw earlier, I believe it was this week, there's that shooting in Tennessee where there's the little so-called Negro boy that was a white supremacist, and he was, within his manifesto, he aimed it at Candace Owens, saying she influenced him a lot, and these alt-right guys. And he was also fond of the H guy as well. And it's really a really weird incident, but it seems like they're trying to link the Israelites with this alt-right stuff, and the boy's parents are supposedly Israelites, or out and about Israelites, acknowledging that they're Israelites. All while he's a white supremacist. It all didn't make sense, but now you're kind of seeing them trying to link the two so that they could take the ministry off the streets, because this is what hurts them. The truth hurts them, considering this world is full of lies. And then lastly, I was just on GMS Contrition is Key, and he just posted this, in which the title says it all. White nationalists uniting with black nationalists against Amalek. More agent activity. And that's exactly what it seems like, because they are trying to link us. But let's listen to this really quick.
Hey, after the end, we're going to go to the Big T.
Yeah, and look, this is a very interesting conversation that's bringing in a lot of different histories, emotions, right? Racial biases and animosities and all those things. And I mean, obviously I sit here willing to, and not just willing to, but encouraged to come into these spaces knowing that just because of the color of my skin or some of the things that I think, or the maybe the common enemy that I call out, that I'll take these slings and arrows. But folks, I believe that this is what has to happen. These are going to be uncomfortable realities, right? We are basically living amongst one another. Let's think of it as a cul-de-sac, right? We've all seen the cul-de-sac over the last 40 or 50 years go to shit, right? We can look back at the Cosby Show, which was a pretty reasonable reflection of the average nuclear middle-class black family not all that long ago. And I see somebody down there laughing, but let's be real. That was a pretty reasonable presentation of what it was like to be a hardworking, individual with faith, with a good amount of prosperity. Now look at the average black family, if I can even call it that today. And I say that just because it's north of 85% of black children are now born with parents out of wedlock. And I'm not critiquing the black community. I'm saying that you guys have endured an awful amount of subversion and what I would loosely call torment, if not torture, right? So our culture...
And his whole thing is, this is all happening because of the small hats, right? It's not, right? This is what he's saying. This is what he's trying to say. So they need to link together to come up against the small hats. Very convenient. He's saying that around the time that DJ Trump is just finished saying that there's a bill against anti-Sem. The people speaking against anti-Sem, executive order against those people. And trust me, the grip is gonna get a lot tighter with this guy. This devil, he's moving.
Yeah. And so you see there's this bill, there's this guy trying to get Israelites to join hand in hand with them, even though they're white nationalists. There's that kid that did the school shooting recently that was a white supremacist, but he's actually a so-called Negro, and his parents are Israelites, and they're trying to link us together. For the longest time, they've been trying to link us to Islam and all that stuff, and now they're trying to link us to white nationalists, and they try to say that we're just like the KKK, but we're black and all this stuff. It's basically this devil is about to come down with great wrath, seeing he hath but a short time. And it's already started, considering the deportations that are happening. We are already in Jacob's trouble, and as a hopeful elect, we have to be circumspect. We have to watch out. We have to see these tricks that the devil has up his sleeve. This is 2 Corinthians 2 and verse 11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. Satan, meaning adversary, and his people that are here, his children, are the Edomites, so-called white people, and this includes those small hatters, the 1948ers with the big noses. This includes them. They're the lead tribe, the head tribe of them. And so they're trying to protect them. But it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. This is one of his devices in which he's going to try and lock us up with. So let's get that word for device, which is Strong's G 3540, noema, which is a mental perception, a thought, an evil purpose. That which thinks, the mind thoughts are purposes, perception, purpose, the intellect, disposition, device, mind, thought. So it's basically his intents. He has evil intents, evil purposes for us. And he's trying to get a link between us and these other extremist groups so that he could take us off the streets, so that he could end the ministry, so he doesn't have to hear this sound in his ears of the truth exposing him for being who they are, which are the Edomites, not so-called white people, for the lies that they've told forever, for the atrocities that they have committed, and all the blood that's been shed, all the theft that they've committed. They want this word to shut up, but it's not going to. And we see how they're coming, which we see they're trying to link us to these extremist groups, to the alt-right, to white supremacist groups, but they don't even go together. They don't go together at all. So there is no link, and we are blameless, says Yahweh Shai. We're just speaking the truth of the scriptures. And so this is a point in which we have to really stick to the scriptures and not go on any emotion. It's just about the truth. This is 1 Peter 5 and verse 8. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil being a deceiver, and these Edomites are deceivers, the biggest deception being so-called white Jesus, and they have more tricks up their sleeve. But it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. And so they're at this point trying to make these links between us so that they could take us out. But as it says, When the enemy shall come in as a flood, a standard shall be lifted. And they are about to come in. They're already going after the northern kingdom. And it'll be just a moment before they go after the southern kingdom, so-called Negroes. This is Revelation 2 and verse 10. It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And that's just a amount of time. It's not necessarily going to be 10 days. It says, "Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." So you have to hold on to the truth. You have to keep your garments, because the devil is going to come down, and persecution is written of. And some of us will be martyrs, but overall, the elect get the victory. This devil goes down. So there's really nothing to fear. As he says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Because overall, this whole thing that's happening right now with the deportation, with Jacob's trouble, it's all for good. It seems awful right now, but eventually this all has to happen for the kingdom to happen, for the kingdom to come. And so we look forward to this. It's not going to be fun, but this has to happen. We need him to come down. It's really like, hurry up. Hurry up, devil. You only have a short time left. Why are you wasting time? But the Lord's also, some of us will be martyrs and some of us will be locked up. But at the same time, the Lord is going to lift a standard. And we'll see what that standard is, whether it's spiritual powers, or him allowing us to flee, or him making us disappear when that flood comes in, when those enemies come in. We'll see. But the Lord's got us. And he says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. This has to take place. But I wanted to put that out there because you can tell this devil is trying to link us to these other groups, to these supremacist groups, or to Islam. He's trying to take whatever can stick to where he can get us off the streets. But that time's not going to come until the Lord says it's time. So we'll see. Stay strong. Lord willing, this is edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Wachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. And Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.